They're gonna kill the love of my life.
Casey!
If I don't go back to what I was doing.
Our line of work is quite brutal and quite ruthless.
How far would you go for love?
You steal truck, bring it to me. Then you make your money.
Is it dangerous?
Of course it's dangerous!
Nicholas Hoult, Felicity Jones, with Ben Kingsley and Anthony Hopkins.
All this trouble, all this pain, for love.
Collide, now playing. Rated PG-13, may be inappropriate for children under 13.
Good morning.
Blog Talk Radio.
Good morning. It is Christmas morning on 2014, the fastest year in a very long time. I think time has literally shrunk. Or we are entering a different relationship with time-space. This is your host, Llorraine Neithardt, and you have reached Venus Unplugged. And for the last few weeks, I've been working with the Women's Mysteries of Pompeii. And I'm taking a little break today because I have decided to, or I have been inspired to speak of WOMANCHRIST. I wanted to give my listeners a gift for Christmas. And wasn't sure what that was. And then suddenly I remembered a dream. And I had this dream on February 28th, 1992. And the name of the dream is WOMANCHRIST. And so I had begun my Jungian mentorship and training in the spring of 1985. So this is about 7 years later. So in 7 years, in this individuation process, which takes a lifetime, if not many, I had 7 years, and 7, of course, is a number related to Saturn. So I had a bit of a grasp on these realms, these archetypal realms. So this dream came, and it was quite different than all other dreaming. And in this particular dream, there is some oppressions going on and a whole series of unpleasant human behavior is coming at me. And suddenly, I turn, and in the dream, I begin to speak in a way that's so fierce and so centered and so at one of what I will and will not do, what I will and will not serve. And as I am saying to the... now, of course, I take full responsibility. In the dream, every aspect of a dream is an aspect of myself. But I have that little added dimension of prophetess or oracle. So when I read dreams or work with dreams, I see it on many, many levels, both the personal and the transpersonal. So in this particular dream, what was so riveting is this absolute shift in attitude that I have. And I'm just not going for it. And in this dream, I state, I will serve my own heart. And as if I'm emancipated, but for a moment in time, because then you've got to work for it, on this side of reality. And there's this fierceness. And I don't care if all the winds and sand comes and, because I was on a beach and takes over the beach, and that I need to feel no remorse for there were a lot of cold, unfeminine women, and they were like evil queens. And I stated, I will no longer cry in the ashes that I have fed on. I will not hunger for their unfeeling touch. I will nurture on the core of my own being, the black diamond in my own heart, whose bred in my bones, blood and body of WOMANCHRIST. Now, I had no idea what this meant. I mean, this dream went on for a couple of pages, right? So I wake up, I write down my dreams, I damn near faint. That still happens to me because it's like, and who is this dreamer? Now I've got over 10,000 dreams literally written down because I am a dreamer. I was also initiated into the dream time by the American Indians. That was also in 1992. 92 was a pretty astounding year, actually. So this archetype of WOMANCHRIST, which I cannot kind of tish away because it's realer than real, and I know that. It may not be realer than real for anybody else, but it certainly is for me. So she came up many, many times and gave various teachings and dreams. And I even did a performance on WOMANCHRIST, which I will find and read to you. I guess that was in 1997. And then another time I spoke of her. But every time I went to bring it to the public, of course, terrified, but hey, everything that we do, particularly that which we love the deepest, is terrifying. I was going to speak of her at the crypt in Christchurch in Dublin, and when they found out what it was about, they wouldn't let me speak about it. It was like, whoa, wait a second, it's just poetry, man. I'm just putting two words together like woman and Christ, and I thought, oh, well, maybe this is a sign that I shouldn't be speaking of her. And then some other deeper voice said, no, maybe it's a sign that you must bring this possibility into the world. So I changed the name of the talk. I found another venue to speak in, and I just changed it to WOMANCHRIST in Exile. So this topic, this emerging archetype, which we all have going on inside of us, the archetype of Christ, and in this holy season, and what it's about. So whether it's the historical Christ, okay, or for me, more importantly, the archetypal Christ of what an individuated person looks like and lives by, and who's deeply and profoundly human. This is part of what this feminine energy of this WOMANCHRIST is. Now, one of the assignments she gave me was, okay, I want you to speak of me. I want you to tell people of me. But you are not allowed to describe me. I thought, oh, man, this is like one of that, one hand clapping. That's usually because you're smacking yourself in the face. And I was like, what? Why am I supposed to do that? You'll figure out a way. Okay. So this is this emergence. Now, the reason which I've grown into, it's 30 years, should learn a little something, is that I have the right, the authentic right, to speak of my experience, what I have dreamed, and how I have seen this operate in my life and how I've seen myself change. But by describing her, this divine feminine, takes away from your description of who she is, your holiness, the mother of your internal divine child. So there was some profound reason why this was told to me. No, people need to have an experience. They need to know that I'm ever present. They need to know that I am always there. And as people work with that in their own imagination, or bringing into the dream time, or asking for dreams, or creatively, doing artwork, whatever it is with that intention, that image will come forth. This fierce, profound, one of her aspects is this kind of ruthless compassion. This archetype is a piece of work, man. It is jaw-dropping at times when it's moving through. It's like a tornado in a teacup. And she's present. And I see it in other people's work. It's not called the same thing. In a sense, it doesn't matter what it's called. To me, she came and named herself that and was like, okay, cool. That's who you are. That's who you are. And so I spoke to her. I spoke of her a few times in the public, and it was pretty interesting stuff. So today, for Christ Mass, she gave me a poem. And this was, 1996. This is after I dream of her many, many times. Because every time I would dream of her, then some great Wagnerian episode of love, despair, death, revelation, rites of passage, all this stuff would happen. And so you get a little nervous on, certain dreams, because they're just going to activate this profound force. And you can't stop it, because it's divinity in action, as we all are in one way or another. So there was a few lines. And she states here, if I feel familiar, it is because I am. If I feel as a stranger, it is because it is I. If I feel as the space and sound between your heartbeats, it is because I am. If I evoke within a terror so great, you dare not form an image, yes, it is I. If you feel me as the substance inherent in all universes, unseen, it is I. If you feel me as life manifest, it is all, and it is I. If you feel me as compassion so ruthless, that is love all in shadow and light, it is I. I am the sound of the first breath of life, and its opposite, the death rattle. There I am too. You will also find me in a refusal to take sides, but an enduring tension of the opposites. I am neither mother nor witch, neither redeemer nor saver. I come to evoke and invoke, willingly and unwillingly, conscious or unconscious. your own inner truth will come forth. I am the silent command of your soul to bring forth the conditions upon which you will become whole. I dwell in the womb and the tomb. I am the presence between the beginning and eternity. I'm where light cannot reach, for I am light unmanifest. I am the voice void of criticism and judgment, the knowing that knows. My mantle is what goes to reject as the worthless, the disregarded, the substance of transformation. I am real, the majestic and the ordinary. I am there too. I am the faith of the transpersonal. I lie there too. I am the very vibration of every truth told, and the lie, and every lie told in the truth. There too I dwell. I am why you fear your own power and choose dominance instead. It is I that you want to get away from. But I am there too. I am the divine shadow in the sons and daughters of patriarchy. I am what they refuse to feel. I will not be dominated or pleased. All that exists is my place. I am the aftermath of the blood sport you call love. I'm in the one-night stand of seduction, calling you to initiation. As the one-night Eros flies back to his demon mother, I call you forth to Christ you. I am in the unconscious made conscious. My form lives in all that is potential in humanity, but most of all, you. I am the truth in your enemy's eyes, and eye of the enemy. I am the smoldering core of life rejected and the joy of madness accepted. I am the white heat of the cold-blooded serpent of transformation. I am in the essence of play and the joy of spontaneity, born of itself, for itself. I am the alimony from your death marriages. I am the appointed time, the fall in love. I am who carries you back. I am your shield against envy. So, that's how she started in my life. And today, I wanted to bring her forth, and of course, I was told to do that, so of course, and here I am trying to explain something that when you feel something on a deeply intuitive level, and then need to kind of switch it into the language that is concretized. I guess that's why we have poetry, because it's in a sense the only way that this can be given. As she gave me this poem, not that I consider myself a poet, but this is the way she first came in her kind of awareness. So today, on this holy day, on this birth of the divine child with you, and we might want to consider, where has she been in your life? Where is this odd feeling, this force, this archetype? Because I guarantee you, when she first starts showing up, we want to throw her into the ashes. We drop the pearls in our dream. We get very busy being busy. But if we could take a moment or two, and even if you reject this whole concept, which is of great value also, what is in that rejection? it's important why we reject something. Are we throwing out our pearls of wisdom because the negative animus doesn't want you to have that kind of authenticity? And she's a level of love. She's almost like a crucified Venus in some way, where society crucifies beauty and love, just puts it at the edge of the culture, but doesn't allow it in. It's the part of you that has an inherent sovereignty. And the word sovereignty, the etymology of the word sovereignty, is to be your own rule. And all things that we believe are very often the beliefs of other people, and that we're told, and that we believe it. But that's not what this Woman Christ energy is about. What this energy is about is your own sovereignty, your own rule. Yes, we listen to the scholars, and we read the great works, and we meditate, and we do trance, and we just all the things that we do to evoke consciousness. Believing is one thing. Experience, your own personal experience, and working with that will bring you to knowledge and eventually to wisdom. So we respect and we engage. It's one of the millions of colors that exist in this world, and millions of thoughts. But consciousness is your own experience and what you believe to be true, and what your faith is, and what your wisdom is. So in many ways, I began to understand that she is the union of the opposites of the Hoover-Madonna split in the human psyche. When they become integrated, which is all what Venus Unplugged is about, how do we take the harlot and the holy one? How do we bring those together? How do we bring spirit and matter together? So this experience of Womanchrist is that line between the yin and the yang. That's where she lives, in my imagination. She may live in another galaxy in yours, but she's present. And this emergence of this archetype is very, very important. So observe, watch, listen, believe what you believe, but challenge it a little bit. Do you believe it if that's what you were told? But that's what we do when we're children. When we're trying to be adults and we're trying to be conscious, well, then we have to start kind of feeling for ourselves and wondering. Because we can come up with all sorts of cockamamie stuff, and I've heard a lot of it. But when it comes in the dream, and it comes in your experience, you'll see it will prove itself out. Jung had this wonderful quote when he talks about real love. And in some ways, this Woman Christ is real love. When real love comes into your life, what is your first response? To run like hell in the opposite direction. Because where love is present, the danger is the greatest, because God is nearest. But love is your fate, just as it is. And this is a kind of love. This is a kind of force of this divine feminine energy in men and women. And what it looks like to bring these forces together, which is an enormous amount of work. So this is just a suggestion that she's present in your life. And we always have to be careful with the he's and the she's and the males and the females, and be able to hold, not choose one or the other, because that's what keeps us twisted on this planet. We're constantly splitting things. And so one thing that she spoke about was, spiritual ecology, and that the planet is endangered due to the power-driven attitudes of humanity, and that our pollution is a physical manifestation of our psychic repression, and our rage is now manifesting literally in our atmosphere, and the rage of the infantile entitlement that says you have the right to hurt another in word, thought, or deed, and it's manifesting in environmental pollution and in the infantile rage of humanity. That breathing upon the earth, this dry belief. The dominance overrides relatedness. Now, of course, it takes a great deal of maturity and shadow awareness to see the cosmology of this. So this energy of this force that is present in your life, this is happening. This is the beauty. It's an energy source. It's a form of beauty that you may have never ever seen before or ever felt before. You see, because Christ consciousness outside of time-space and that's part of this magical season, or which we can have any day and any time we want. We celebrate these things because they also have to do with the calendar, okay, and how we look at things. But we can have the holiness of holidays in any moment that we want. See, and it says if angels and artists befriend one another profoundly, intuition is the highway in which angels roam, and angels are special friends to prophets and oracles and those who feel this way, those who choose to consider what love is, what goes on in the psyche, and what happens in our life. 2015 is going to be one of the most extraordinary years ever. I didn't say easy, I said extraordinary. So I hope that you find this as a gift in the way that I mean it, that because so many creative people, they're a law unto themselves, and above all, faithful to the creative instinct. So, be faithful to your creative instinct and create a relationship with this unknown. Who cares if you make it up? The same energy we use to deny it is the same energy that it is. And it's a fierce and profound love. So, that is my Holy Day gift to all hold this, contain it. Don't speak of it yet until you can feel it, you can move it. But there it is. So, my beloveds, have an absolutely glorious day of feasting and dancing. And then there's Little Christmas, January 6th. And particularly on January 6th, dreams are very prophetic and secrets are revealed on 12th night. So, till next week, may this day be the holy of holies for all. Many blessings. Bye. You can download this on iTunes. I always forget to tell people this. And that's it. Bye.
You're gonna kill the love of my life.
Casey!
If I don't go back to what I was doing.
Our line of work is quite brutal and quite ruthless.
How far would you go for love?
You steal truck, bring it to me. Then you make your money.
Is it dangerous?
Of course it's dangerous!
Nicholas Hoult, Felicity Jones, with Ben Kingsley and Anthony Hopkins.
All this trouble, all this pain, for love.
Collide, now playing. Rated PG-13. May be inappropriate for children under 13. Appropriate for children under 13. Appropriate for children under 13. Appropriate for children under 13.